This is Nicholas Melillo, aka Nick R. Agua. I'm here in Esteli, Nicaragua. Foundation Cigar Company represent. You're watching CigarNoise Weekly. Blitz up!
Thanks, Nick, for the intro. I am Dave, your host, and this is indeed CigarNoise Weekly. We've got a lot to cover today, from the Cuban cigar cancellations to the FDA freeze on President Trump's Inauguration Day. So fire up that cigar I've been waiting on all day, pour yourself a double, and let's make some noise. Continuing along with recent FDA trends, investors in Altria woke up earlier this week to find out that they had purchased Sherman Group Holdings, which includes Nat Sherman, a very well-known cigar brand. And in the same week, Halfwell reported that British American Tobacco purchased Reynolds American, making this a very big week for publicly traded tobacco companies. And this also signals the loss of yet another well-known cigar brand. They will no longer be producing Dunhill cigars, only the cigarettes. And to pour more fuel on the fire, Habano's SA announced earlier in the week that they will no longer be offering several well-known cigars. Among other packaging options, we said farewell this week to the Bolivar No. 1 Tubos and Corona Gigantes, H. Upmann Petit Corona, Hoyo de Monterrey du Prince, Jose L. Piedra's Cremas and Petit Cetros, Punch Royal Coronation, Romeo y Julieta Cetros Deluxe No. 1, and the Los Tres Romeos 3-count box, as well as the Vegas Robaina Don Alejandro. All of this comes just days and hours before now President Trump signed an executive order to freeze all pending regulations from the Obama administration, as reported by Cigar Authority. And speaking of President Trump, we reached out to Dom Cipineri, our on-the-ground correspondent for CigarNoise, to reach out to his local shop in California and gauge the pulse of the people.
Thanks, Dave. I'm here at a local cigar lounge on Inauguration Day to see if people think the government will continue to interfere with their cigars. How do you think Trump's administration is going to affect the cigar world?
I don't think too much. Not enough for me to notice. The owner will probably notice as far as the taxes up or down. But
And what are you smoking right now?
a brown one.
A brown one. Excellent. Do you think the Trump administration is going to further relations with Cuba or cut back on it?
I would hope that the Trump administration would continue to further relations with Cuba, because the embargo for 60 years is a little bit excessive, I think.
You put me on the spot like that. I don't know. I just grabbed a new one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, take care.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dom Cipineri. In other news, we have my hero of the week. So why is Kyle Gallis my hero of the week? Well, aside from obviously good menswear, it looks like he's smoking a Black Honey. It's a mythical cigar that was made by a fateful accident and was only released as a 600 count to the public. But I know what you're thinking, Dave, that's obviously a filter, bro. So I went ahead and played with lots of different filters to try and make sense of it, because that's just what you do when you see Kyle Gallis smoking one of your favorite cigars. And as you can see here, there's just no way that he's smoking a La Colmena. It's gotta be a Black Honey. And I take that as personal encouragement that he's gonna be releasing them in the next year or two.
It's just not happening, man.
Rich, man, it's all open to interpretation, right?
I don't know. Let's go back to the vault and check out what he said.
All right, yeah, roll the clip.
Even if I chose to have them made again, they would take, you want the same experience, it's going to take a year, you know, and then if I have to do it, then there's the production aspect of it of, well, how many do I make? And then if I make them, who's going to get mad that they didn't get it? You know what I mean? There's a lot more components to it. So right now we'll just leave it.
Well, there you have it, folks. My almost hero of the week. Next, we've got a little segment we call Dave vs. the World, but no, it's not the Dave you're thinking of.
I saw this picture the other day of this guy's Instagram feed, and he's got 30 hashtags, super cool guy. Don't understand what he's doing though. Like, he must, I'll tell you, the picture is of him smoking an FFP, and he's burnt halfway through the band. What? The idiocy, you would just assume, right? You don't smoke paper and ink. It makes more sense to me. You guys don't do that, right? Like, that's not something people do. Is that a thing people do? I'm sure he's like a jabroni wearing all his like man jewelry. Speaking of man jewelry, Matt Booth. Matty Ice! Anyway, this can't be a real thing. I refuse to believe it's a real thing. It's ridiculous. People know better. But then again, this is happening. Get it together. And while we're on the topic of taking pictures with your cigars, y'all need to cut your nails. Sorry, I held my tongue as long as I could. You need to do better. You need Jesus. You're being ignorant. You're being reckless. If you do it again, you're fired. So anyway, that's it from me this week, guys. Don't do anything stupid or you might end up on the next one. God.
Thank you, Dave. And as we close with our Instagram CigarNoise hashtags of the week, I'd like to say special thanks to Tom Thorough for sharing his musical talent, as well as our featured guest and everyone that contributed to the news portion. And don't forget to subscribe, because we are just getting started.